Hello and welcome to another episode of Two Average Jerry's. That was kind of tough this week. Kind of like a little hard to get out there. But there we go. It's almost Christmas.
Is that?
It's getting there. No happy holidays here at Two Average Jerry's. It's Christmas. Okay.
True.
That's the way it works. We're going to start off our show by doing something I know everybody wants us to do. We are going to do a report card on the Go Brandon administration.
That's true.
Go Brandon administration.
Yep.
So, Robert, I think you have came up with a good report card. Start off.
I have, and we'll start with the grade first, and we'll go back to our school days when they gave Fs.
Yes, that's right. For
failing. All right. To come up to now, I guess it's an E. I don't know what E means, but I think it's a failure. So first we have the withdrawal from Afghanistan, which we can give him an F for fiasco.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And why would it be fiasco, Joe?
Because we left with our tail between our legs.
And what else did we leave?
All of our equipment, billions of dollars from what I understand.
What could go wrong with that? I mean, I don't know.
Maybe we can get in a war with Russia. Maybe we can do that.
We don't dispute that we needed to get out. Okay.
No. You and I are both believers we needed to get out. Just with dignity and shame and with our equipment.
Yeah. Death before dishonor. And I think we dishonored the flag and the people who gave their lives and their limbs and their mental health.
Yes. I think that's what bothers me is the people that died, the people that left, shattered, they're physically and mentally for that matter.
Yes.
If I had been there and I had seen that and just thinking that I had sacrificed that much, I think it would be very difficult. Easy to judge it while you're sitting there in your living room, but I could only imagine what those who suffered that.
Right. Yeah. And then the second fiasco, I think the jobs report came out, and also that inflation is the highest that it's been since 1982. So Biden likes to say that he's historically doing things. Well, yeah. I mean, when you go to the store, and I'm not even sure because of the way that they're computing, they keep janking up the way they compute how inflation is is calculated. But I go and things that I'm buying at the Dollar General are up 25 to 30%. When I go to put gas in my car from when Trump left office until now, it's up 25 to 30%. So 6.8 seems a little light. So a little light. Yeah. I'm not sure what they're putting in their basket of goods when they're calculating their
I think
inflation.
That smoked barbecue salmon is way down.
Something must be down. What exactly is down? But
jalapeno potty meat dropped by 2 cents. Because it ain't anything I'm buying, brother.
Nothing I'm buying either. If you can find it, okay.
That's so right, if it's actually on the shelf.
Yeah, I went into the Dollar General, which is, a mile from my house, which it's become the 7-Eleven, I guess.
That's right. I go to the Dollar General all the time.
Yeah, because their prices are good. But, there was no toilet paper. I don't know what it is with toilet paper.
I don't know.
I guess it's what they're saying is the supply chain is somehow broken.
The supply chain. I will say this. I have never seen the empty shelves. And here's the thing about talking heads. I don't give a damn why you say there's empty shelves. I just know there's empty shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I know that they seem to be getting worse at times. I think there's certain products you can't find. It made sense during the pandemic that everybody went out and bought 8,000 rolls of toilet paper, paper towels. I couldn't find any Lysol because, two things I can guarantee about the American people. We hate germs and we are going to wipe our butt. So, I'm pretty much guessing. You can put it on a state flag or something.
There you go.
But the reality of it is I think that some of this is just the supply chain. I think it needs to went down. And I don't think that the powers to be want you to know that a lot of people didn't go back to work. A lot of companies shut down. A lot of the in-between middlemen don't have the resources they used to have. And you got a bunch of ships sitting here on the ocean, okay? And those are easy to show. But then I had friends telling me there's a trucker problem.
I have a client who's a long haul trucker. He says the trucks are lined up for miles waiting to get the stuff. It's not it's something else which we're not being told what it is. But with this administration,
they're not going to tell you.
They're not going to tell you.
And remember, basically, most of the news that you get off of the news, okay, is government ran propaganda. Okay, so they're not going to tell you. It was like, why was it? It was like Thanksgiving. There was this female person, who said, well, maybe we don't have turkey. Maybe you just have an Italian buffet.
There you go.
And I got a suggestion for you too. And you're probably going to like it about as much as I did your Italian buffet cup.
Right.
I'm not even going to say it. We're not a family show, but I don't want to have to put explicit.
Right.
Check that box when I do it. So we'll just leave it alone. But my suggestion for her would have been about as good as that suggestion. And she said it with a straight face, like an absolute imbecile.
Yeah.
So what would you give him on his ability to read a teleprompter?
It would be up there with the F or an E for these days.
F minus.
His
eyes get beady. Every time I watch him, first off, I can't judge what he's going to say because I already hate him and I know it's crap. So unless he said something stunning that I agreed with, I just realized that out of his mouth rolls crap. But he makes me laugh because he's so obviously reading. It's like his eyes get beady.
Right.
It's like, what does that say?
Didn't he say emphasis added at one of them?
Yes, he said. They told me to ask Bob to ask me a question. You got a question?
Right. Emphasis added.
Yeah. And then they got people like, no one's asking that question. There's something wrong with him, right?
Right.
And no, he's a Gantry problem.
So to move on from the inflation, then we have the mandate. Okay, and the governor of the great state of Michigan said we have a problem with the mandate. Okay,
yes,
and where the problem is hitting is the healthcare industry because they're within the mandate of what the federal government is trying to mandate, which is all these healthcare workers, which any facility that has more or any company that has more than 100 employees are going to be hit with this. That they're supposed to be vaccinated. Well, there's issues regarding religious exemptions. There's issues regarding healthcare exemptions. So we're going to start putting on the street trained healthcare officials because they will not get the mandated vaccine. So another F for the Biden administration for trying to enforce a mandate against companies over 100. Now the Senate had passed something saying, no, you're not supposed to do that. Now we have snowball's chance of hell of the Democrats in the House of Representatives probably passing something similar. And if it got to Biden's desk, if he could find the pen to sign something, I don't think he would be able to sign it.
They just hold his hand.
Yeah, they might do that. So, so we have, in our fourth important, we're only going to the important aspects of his administration. So he's probably failing in many, many other ways. But so far, he's got an F minus on, the 3 or 4 things that we have done. So now we get to the international portion of his grading, other than the Afghanistan fiasco, that now we have on the border of the Ukraine, the Russians are amassing probably a historic level of troops and materiel poised to.
Haven't seen since Stalin. Go ahead.
Exactly. And I don't know what, do you remember what Biden said? He said that Putin faces some adjective that I don't recall, but bad stuff is supposed to happen.
Yes, he's gonna get a stern talking to. That's what's going to tell you what's going to happen. Stern talking to.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Crimea was taken over during the Obama administration, of which Biden was, if he was there, part of, supposedly.
Yes, he was there. He was there. As a matter of fact, there is a picture of him. It's a historical picture, and I'm going to try to find it, where actually he is serving Obama some coffee while Obama's making these decisions. And I think the caption said, he said, I think that when it was asked about Crimea, and I mispronounced that, but
Crimea.
Yeah, pouring the coffee. And the caption said at that point, he asked him about what they should do with the Russians, and Biden said, would you like 1 or 2 lumps of sugar?
There you
go. And then filled his diaper and left the room. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, anybody. I'm not really 100% sure I could.
Right. And I don't know, we had mentioned Taiwan in our pre-show.
Yes.
I don't know whether the administration, what their view is on that, but
another stern warning.
There we go. But here we are, the 2 largest militaries on the planet other than us, and we're putzing around with them. So
I do not think that they are going to bed at night fearing Joe Biden.
I suspect not.
Another thing I've heard is that on the Russians on the Ukrainian border all chant, "Let's go, Brad." Go, Brad.
There we go.
Again, don't quote me on it. Sure, I can prove that.
Right. And then the VP is
laughing.
Surprisingly absent. I don't see her anywhere, doing anything. We've had we didn't talk about this in the pre-show, but we should maybe talk about the border situation. To just add to, his report card of
F.
Yeah.
But he did manage to say that him and his wife cooked breakfast in the White House. Then he said it wasn't him, it was just her. I wouldn't trust him to turn on any equipment. Not even a step.
Right.
Not even a step. He's not allowed to turn on a step.
So as part of our current affairs segment, that was what we wanted to do, was do a brief, however brief, report card on the Biden administration. And I think that the Democrats are preparing for a bloodletting for the next round of election.
Yes. They are waiting for the bloodletting of all time. They're going to get destroyed. The interesting thing will be just how bad they're destroyed. I think, we didn't talk about it, and I don't want to make light of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to tell you, and we didn't give him an F for this, though he would deserve it, but I don't want to make overly light of it. But I don't think they're going to dig themselves out of the crime situation.
Yeah. We didn't talk about that. But because Seattle and Oregon, and they're, the lootings of high-end apartment stores seem to be occurring on a regular basis now.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to claw them out of crime. I mean, they burned down the Fox Christmas tree.
There we go.
Okay, and the guy was just released, right? He was like, there you go. We got no bond. You get out of.
There we go.
Forget that it was the Fox Network's Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I watched it. It's blazing in the middle of a city. You would think that would be a felony. Just don't matter whose tree it is. It could be Bob's Christmas tree, right?
Right.
But no, there you go. You can catch a entire gigantic Christmas tree on fire.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need any bond. Just feel free to go out and do it again. Yeah, the lawlessness, I know Fox covers it, but I think the lawlessness is the things that people do not tolerate.
Yeah.
It's really weird. You can get into debates about some pretty big issues.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them that we've talked about, and get into a lot of big debates. What you don't find anybody saying is we need more crime.
Right.
You know, or we need to tolerate crime.
That comes down to the defund the police thing that, that's a non-starter, man. They figured that that's bullshit. That's
and I will tell you something. There is a part where I'm watching just the films, and we'll get into Twitter in a moment because I have my own personal opinion about Twitter and I want to share it. And if anybody would ever make a comment about Twitter, I'd appreciate it. I just don't know if Twitter is that important.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to get rid of crime. And I know people don't understand that. You'll always have crime. And that's true. But you're always going to have a fascination with crime. Just look through your TV settings, right? The ID channel, all the things that talk about crime.
Yeah.
Okay, you're never going to get rid of crime and you're never going to get rid of the interest in crime. But when crime seems out of control and unpunished, and when crime gets to be brazen, you are going to find that people are going to react to that. They're not going to tell you that. See, that's one of those things where people don't go out and necessarily say at the top of their lungs, shouting from the rooftop, look, I just think people that believe in crime are crap and I'm not going to vote for them. They'll come up with some other reason, they'll say, oh, well, we need to change this. Now, people hate crime. People hate crime more than they even act. There is no tolerance for lawlessness.
Yes.
And I think as this next election come up, or just even the future, and I'm not a Democrat by no stretch of imagination, but if I was going to give them an advice, if anybody ever called me, I'd be like, you better get a hold. Everything else put on the back burner. And you better get a hold of crime. You better give some impression that you care about crime.
Definitely.
Don't let AOC go out here and say the numbers don't back it. I don't have my ignorance on today, AOC. I'm sorry. My eyes aren't lying. I know what's happening. The numbers are horrible. And you're not going to climb out of that. And I think that's what Bill Maher was trying to say about some of the things that they have grabbed a hold of. They are non-winners.
Right.
It doesn't matter what your friends say at work. It does not matter what your friends say when you're at a cocktail party. Mm-hmm. They will tell you anything they want to be socially acceptable. But crime is, in many people, their number one priority. And if you look soft on crime, you are dead. And that's exactly what they look like.
Right.
And they'll blame it on a million other things, but people don't like lawlessness.
True that.
They just don't like it. You don't always like the police. They don't always like lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing they hate more than the police and lawyers is crime.
Especially in their neighborhoods.
Yeah, they're not going to tolerate it. And television made the world shrink, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you're in Columbus, Mississippi, or you're in Allegan, Michigan, and you're watching crime on TV in a big city, you're not going, well, that wouldn't happen here. As a matter of fact, people go the opposite. They'll go, that could happen here. I could see that happen.
Yeah.
If not that I think a single Democrat in the entire world watches this program.
Right.
But if they did, that would be my advice. It's like, if you don't get a hold of anything, you better get a hold of crime, or there will be no chance for that party. Yeah. And it just won't be there. I want to talk about Twitter for a second. This is something that we didn't discuss, but we have in the future, in the past, and will in the future. I think there's because Donald J. Trump, I believe 45th president of the United States of America, liked Twitter, and he got on Twitter, and he probably got on Twitter too much. Okay. And then Twitter got rid of him. I think that some people think Twitter is this amazing thing. It's like, oh, Twitter, the Twitterverse. I have been on Twitter on a couple of different programs, everything from fitness to politics to art. I've been on it many times trying to do things and reading things. And I've never, I don't have 10 million viewers because I'm not famous, but Twitter is probably as big a shit show as I've ever seen. One of the problems that Twitter made, and Twitter before Trump, Twitter was battling some legitimacy problems. Okay. Because what could happen is LeBron or a sports person could get on it, or a politician could get on it, and people would go crazy. But people also said, there's a lot. I forgot which guy said it. I really wish I could remember it. But there was a guy that said, I don't know why anybody would worry about Twitter, because I just got an email that said they could give me 40,000 Twitter followers for $9.19. And I've gotten those emails. Okay. I could probably right now, my Twitter numbers are not high. You want to know why my Twitter numbers aren't high? Because I'm not giving anybody $19.99 to give me 50,000 Twitter followers.
To me, they lost legitimacy when they deplatformed the president of the United States.
Yeah. But, I don't think that they have the following on Twitter that people say. I think Twitter's full of robots. I think Twitter's full of people who talk to people who believe like they believe. I do not think it is a giant program. I think, as a matter of fact, I'll go out and say it. I think there's so many fake people on Twitter that regular folks don't even follow people anymore. They'll follow like a sports guy. They'll follow an actor. They'll follow something like that. But they're not following regular people, and they're not setting up a network. I mean, I'll give Facebook, for all of its problems, I'll give Facebook credit for that. I do think people set up little communities on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think I've been on Instagram. There's so many fake people on Instagram. There's probably as many fake people on Instagram as there are real people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the average person knows that. I think that a lot of times they'll go, Twitter's got this new president and they're not going to. Nobody really. I mean, right now, I think people follow people that they like. There is no Twitter culture. Facebook got close. I don't know how long it lasts. Okay. There's going to be, whether it's Donald Trump, who should really do it, because nobody got blasted harder than him on social media. And what little bit, I will agree with you, what little bit of respect I had for Twitter, went down the crapper when they deplatformed him. Except they got to say something. I didn't want him on it all the time, and I didn't think Twitter was necessarily. It was good for him. His followers were real. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Twitter in and of itself, if 5 years from now we're on this program, thank God maybe we will be.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if we were. 5 years from now we were on this show. And somebody said, you remember the old days when people used to tweet?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. It is a platform that is not necessarily effective. Parler and Getter, two that I also use, that I'm still trying to learn how to use and get out there a little bit much. I've still got a lot to learn on those two.
Mm-hmm.
You can put a lot more information on theirs. Okay. Twitter limits it to a certain amount of characters and stuff. And it used to even be worse, because it just, now it seems like they've tried to get it where a little bit more can go on. But at one time, it almost was, if you had any sort of content, you couldn't put a picture on for Twitter. Okay, now they're at least better on that. So I've been on it enough to see the good and the bad and the ugly. And 5 years from now, if it wasn't there, I wouldn't be surprised. If Trump or somebody else could come up with an actual better social platform, I think it would work. Because I think Facebook is just kind of given up. They know that Facebook's biggest problem is young people. They don't care about it. They're on it to maybe talk to some relatives. They don't have the same enthusiasm. And they don't do what older people do, which is live on Facebook. If they have their Facebook, they have other platforms that are as important or more important.
Or more so. The interesting thing about Twitter is the premise, I believe, is very, very good, which is an unfettered, unfiltered, direct access to people who are interested in what you're saying. That was what Trump liked about it. So then he could say whatever the hell he wanted to directly to the American public without the media filtering it. Well,
ask me how that went.
Yeah. How did that go, Joe?
Bad. He's not on it.
I know, but that's because they deplatformed him, and that's where I'm saying. I mean, I think they hurt their own brand by.
Yeah, they did, but they started going down the crapper. I think the first thing they did, and it's not exciting. The first big gigantic mistake that would have probably buried him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't exciting. Is when they let bots take over. When you just had the, yeah. I mean, that is probably as stupid as a mistake as anybody could have made. They should have just known it was going to get overran by fake people.
Yeah.
And they didn't take care of it, and it got just manipulated. Like I said, I was stunned. One thing about Facebook I can tell you is you can't buy friends.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can buy Twitter followers. Okay.
Evidently, we can't buy ads on Facebook.
No, we can buy an ad on Facebook. That. Nor can we buy an ad on Google.
Yeah, or YouTube, evidently. Whatever we're saying
Google, YouTube, and Facebook have pretty much cracked on us.
Which is interesting because I think that our what we try to say is not left or right. I mean, it is conservative, but it's the old school liberal, like we talked about the last episode. Yeah.
Well, whatever it is to us, it is not to them because they have shut
evidently
down.
not. We do not fit into their
we are shut
geographic.
Down. It's weird. A long time ago, I had a website called Real Media, and we went kind of national, and writers from all over. And we would do stuff like put out bad pictures of a bomb, right?
Right.
And just talk about him like he was who he was.
Right.
Told the truth, right? Nobody got in our way. I mean, people that read it, would they be yelling at me, talking about calling the FBI, doing all sorts of crazy? Nobody got in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Then they started saying you couldn't show pictures because there was the guy from Nevada who was very, very important. And apparently he got his head busted open, and we showed some real pictures of him just with his black eye, right? Mm-hmm. And they said we couldn't show pictures of people injured. And I thought, I can kind of understand that. You know what I mean? So I ain't got it. And then, I left and didn't do it for a while. And other than not being able to show injured people, it did appear to me that they were still pretty okay. And man, you could get a lot of hits because they really threw your stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
We come back and boom, I noticed they don't throw your stuff out. That was the first thing I noticed different. It was like, wow, you're just not driving those numbers to people like you used to.
Right.
And then we started doing it. Now we can't even get ads.
Right.
For those that don't know, I have been shut down promoting this with ads on Facebook, Google, and YouTube.
Yeah.
They'll still occasionally send me because it's just done through a mass email. They'll send me something. Yeah, Google ads. Well, no, Google ads ain't helping. Okay.
Right.
And for those that don't know, I did one on my open heart surgery, and they said that I was interfering with the elections of India.
Yeah.
And shut me down. But they have shut us down. They've shut us down hard.
Yeah, that's why I think we're getting better. At least this is a, maybe, self-serving statement, but it seems like we're getting better at what we do. Our content's getting better, and our readership or listenership or whatever is going down.
Yeah, I think one thing that has hurt us, and I'm going to have a business meeting here.
Yeah,
I think the difference is that when we were new, we may not have been as organized.
Yeah.
Okay, the show wasn't as organized, even though it's still freewheeling, which I like.
Right.
But not as organized. And got more traction.
Mm-hmm.
I think what hurts now is that we're better organized. The program is better. We kind of got an idea of what we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But the algorithms know who we are, and it's just not going out.
Yeah, they're not kind to us because we talk about vaccines, we talk about mandates, we talk about, we had the Secretary of State of Alabama on.
And shut down because we talked about voting.
Yeah.
Yeah, talked about
voting integrity, actually.
Voter integrity, and they shut us down. They shut us down, folks. Tell you right now, I was going to do a Facebook ad about voter integrity with the Secretary of, help me out here, not the Secretary of State, but he was the Secretary.
Which one?
The one from Alabama.
Oh, he's Secretary of State.
You
Of
know,
Alabama.
yeah, Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
I got nixed on that, and they sent me to do an ad. They wanted my ID and my social security.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's right. Just like I want for you to vote.
Right.
Your ID and your social security number. So the irony was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, if you can go, I'll put a link in it. That was a great show. It's probably one of the best shows we had, and the guy was fantastic, and he just laid it on the line.
Taught me a lot about what Secretary of State did. I didn't realize that,
he did a wonderful job, and I'm putting a link down there, but it was great. But no, I think that it's the battle. I think we don't quit. I don't think we give up, but it's the definite battle. And I don't know. I kind of think we can actually finish the show on this without going too far into it, because I have a paper that I work on now here in Columbus called Columbus Matters. And you know what? I find that when you tell the truth, people don't like it. No matter what.
We had talked about you won't get elected telling the truth. So,
You're not going to. Yeah, telling the truth is not going to do you any good. So,
well, what we should do, which we haven't done the last few times, is, click on the like button, leave a comment. We'll respond.
Yeah, listen, I think you're right on that. For those of you, as we close out, the one thing they can't stop is hit the like button and comment. It will drive.
Yeah, and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah, and subscribe. Just do it. We don't like ending the show on, a negative note, and I don't think this is negative. I just think it's factual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're fighting. Look, if you're a conservative truth teller, you are fighting a huge battle.
Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. If all you write is good job.
Yeah. Anything, even if it's negative, we'll consider every statement.
Every statement.
Even if you're a liberal Democrat, leave something. So,
just tell me why. Tell me why. Joe Biden's great.
Yeah, please do.
Let me know.
We're missing.
I'll read it. But look, man, another good show. Everybody, you be careful out there. Enjoy the holidays, and we will see you next week.
See ya.